Well, that's really what I want to get to too, is I mean, you said live your life, continue to live your life, but how? Because what I'm seeing around me, and I've gone through it a bit myself over the years, but very intensely right now, for people who are just waking up to this, it's only 2 years away. It was, when I first came across all of this stuff, it was, 14 years away. It just felt like I had forever. But if you're just coming to grips with this now, or you don't come to grips with this for another 6 months, the grief was an initial response, particularly for people who, the harder they've lived, the harder their life, the more grief. Because people like that tend to live a life of delayed gratification. One day it's all going to be okay. One day it'll all be worth it. One day, and to think that maybe that one day won't come, there was a lot of grief for some people that I'm aware of. The other thing I'm seeing is trying to keep a foot in both matrices, so to speak. The third dimensional matrix is losing all purpose and meaning. The idea of going to work and doing a job you can't stand to earn money that isn't real so that you can buy material goods that won't exist and pay off that house that you've been doing for the last 15, 20 years that, again, won't exist. That has just lost all purpose, all meaning. And yet it's still the world you're in. It's still the world you've got to live in. You've still got to keep a roof over your head, food on the table, pay for the power. You're not in... And yet... And it's also the public facing people.
Can I just say here, people need to know I'm not immune from that.
Well, this is why I'm asking you. How do you do it?
I live here with you. I'm here. George, house, bills. Got to buy the food. We're not off the grid totally, as much as I would have liked to. Just the journey of my life hasn't allowed for that. So, got to do it. Please understand that I'm here with you living it. And did I have trouble with this? Well, crikey, yeah. I went through a lot of emotional upheaval and internal battles between the mind, matrix, heart, ascension. Okay? Incredible battles. It's like I used to say to people, it's like there's a war going on inside of me. Mm-hmm. And on many levels, the war was also all the mind control I've had to deal with. That's another story altogether. So it's the journey I've taken has been really intense, and it's taken me a long time to come to terms with everything, and to the point where now I can talk about it. Because I also remember, by the way, I'd like to make this point, I came and did this 12,500 years ago. And some people may remember that a major event took place 12,500 years ago, commonly known as the flood. And people didn't believe me back then, and they still don't want to believe me now. And it happened back then when I said it was going to happen. And it wasn't just me. There are others who were here. I will go as far as saying I'm quite sure that you were one of the beings that came here to share that message back then, and that's why you're playing this role that you're playing in now, and that's why you have that burning desire within you to play this role once again. And so we did it back then, and it happened. They didn't believe us back then, and it's like it's written. Can I just pull something out of a biblical script because it's appropriate? Sodom and Gomorrah, right to the very last days, they built, they bought, they sold, they celebrated, right to the last days. And here we are, and we're still, nearly 2 years out, and people are just starting to get a grips with it, but to the last days. So there'll be people right to the very end that just won't get it, and that's their journey. So really, are we crazy? It's happened before many, many, many times. So many cycles, the same scenario. So are we crazy? No. So just think about that. People need to take that into consideration, not just now. People need to remember that this has happened many times over in this world and other worlds throughout the universe. It's a common thing.
It's not the ones who don't believe that are struggling. It's the ones who are starting to believe that are struggling and trying to live in both matrices. They're the ones that are having a hard time.
Okay, that's a good subject to get onto. And I still struggle with it at times. At the moment I'm choosing a colour to paint the kitchen. We've been choosing paints. I've got to paint the kitchen in the next few days. So I'm not stopping to live. Am I edging my bets both ways? No. People would like to think that I am, but I'm actually not. I know what's coming, but I'm not going to stop living. I want to enjoy new colours in my kitchen. For a couple of days hard work, I'm going to get days and days and days and maybe a next year and a half or more out of it. So don't stop living. There are some, it's about striking that balance. There are some areas I'm not going to bother with, long-term investments. Sorry.
So you're not holding gold.
That for me is ridiculous. So I won't go there. But, thinking that, yeah. And I've got friends who I hadn't seen since school. One guy recently, and he's gone through his life. He's worked hard, bought 15 houses, done really, really well for himself. And when I told him this information, it's like, George, don't go there. And I'm like, well, okay. Well, you can either hear it from me now and start working it emotionally and mentally and preparing for it, or you're going to be faced with it. It'll hit you like a brick in the face in the next couple of years. Your choice. So it's happening. I'm confronted with these issues by many people, friends, family. There are some people I just cannot talk about it. I can't even bring up just the inkling of the words. Don't even mention 22. Don't even go there, because they get angry. Like it's a reaction of anger, because they've invested so much of themselves in this 3D level that any prospect of anything changing will just, and they are going to hurt so bad. They will have a breakdown, literally. They will melt. They will melt down.
That's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about too, in that a lot of conflict in relationships. One person's on this path, another one isn't.
Oh, yeah.
That's, I'm hearing about that a lot. And it's
been there, done that.
Are you noticing this is a female-led revolution in a way?
It is. Absolutely. And yeah, power to the sisterhood. Definitely, because this planet is a woman. And it has to be led by the sisterhood. It has to be. More women need to stand up, need to talk about this. Like, I'm doing the best I can as a male. I understand people just got to take a look at my work, and they will see how much I honour the feminine and respect and honour the feminine. We have taken this journey, and the male energy has. So it's important, and this is a point I want to make. It's important for the feminine to let go of the resentment towards the masculine, because if you don't, then you are swinging the pendulum too far the other way, and you're out of balance. So it's important to bring it back to balance. It's important to understand that the masculine, if you talk to Mother Earth and you talk to the Divine Feminine, she will tell you that the masculine had to play this role. Okay? And as hard as it seems, please let go of the resentment, because I know it's there. And I feel it. I feel it in women. I feel it in the feminine. And all I can do is apologise as a male. I'm always apologising in humility for what we have done. And I did that in my wedding vows. I just got married, and I knelt before my bride, and I said to her, I take full responsibility as a male, and I apologise for all the control and all the violence and all the hurt that the male energies have caused throughout the millennia. And I surrender. I surrender my ego, my male ego, to the feminine, and I ask for forgiveness. And I did that as part of our wedding vows. So I know. I've connected with Mother Earth, and I know. I'm one who actually knows. So I'm asking women to stand up. The time is now. Take back your sovereignty. Reclaim it, because it is this male energy is finished, and it's just a small group of beings who are holding on to it. It is not the true male energy. It's just a small, lower manifestation of it.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Really, it's time.
Is there anything, because there seems to be some people out there talking about the rules and the must-dos, is there anything in your opinion that we have to do in order to go through this organic ascension process? Do we have to clear our karma? Do we have to learn forgiveness? Do we have to do anything other than have the intention?
All right. On one level, all of the above. But on another level, it's not a have to or must to. It's about letting go and allowing it to happen naturally, because it will. Just let it happen. and how each person goes about it will be different. You don't worry about. You don't have to go into a healing modality. You don't have to go into a religious experience. You don't have to meditate like a Buddhist monk or a Zen monk and for 10 hours a day. None of the above. You don't. If you choose to do that, then that's your experience. But you will soon discover that that's not the ultimate path. The ultimate path is just letting go and allowing yourself to be. Okay? And it is really that simple. The true path to ascension is as simple as it gets. Just connect within and allow your inner light to come out and allow your inner being to come out, because we're turning inside out, and just allow yourself to be. Be natural. Be you. And when you start to do that, that's when you rock the boat with everyone and everything around you, because we've always been fake up until now, pleasing everyone and everything around us. So when you start to be you, it's challenging. Mm-hmm. Hey, a great man once said, to be or not to be. Now you understand what he was talking about, right?
Yep.
Whether 'tis nobler to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. And that's people misjudging us. Outrageous fortunes are people that are misjudging us and unfairly and unjustly misjudging us. So, bear those slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, because, believe me, it pays off in the end. You will never feel so at peace and so happy within yourself until you actually get truly to be you. And I'm being me now. This is what I came here to do. And this is who I am, like it or lump it. This is George.
Well, I like him.
More than George. Oh, thanks, Lisa. I appreciate that. I do, because, you've got to be real. As we get into these higher realms of the light, we become fully transparent. There's no hiding anything. So don't think for a moment that all thoughts that we have and everything are not known. There's no such thing as privacy. Get over it, because we're completely transparent.
I get the idea that there were all these rules and must-dos and must-don'ts created a lot of questions for people in regards to children. My kids, if they've got small children, then my kids can't make those kind of conscious decisions or anything. Yeah. But also for people who are older with older children, who are late teens and 20s, who are essentially adults themselves. What can you tell us about kids, and even pets for that matter?
Yeah, good questions. Gee, you're asking some good ones. Okay. Okay, here we go. Children. The children are not as tainted as we are, not as programmed as we are, especially the younger ones. Now, there will come a time when they will connect with us, not telepathically. Some may experience it that way, but it'll be more heart-heart connection. And the knowing will be so strong. It's like your child. I mean, have you ever been told off by a child that has told you off?
I've got 3, so yes.
Yeah, but they do it in a way that it comes from a being of great wisdom, and it's like in that moment you're the child. Have you? Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
And it's and it really just hits you, doesn't it? And you just go, crikey, I've got no comeback here whatsoever. I won't even bother trying to defend my ego in this moment. They've got me hook, line, they've got me surrounded. It's finished. Don't even bother. And what you say, that's it. In that moment, they've got you. And that was wisdom coming through. It's going to be like that. It's going to be so, the impact on the parent is going to be so overwhelming, that child will just say, this is how it is. This is where I'm going. You are not to control me. We either, and this won't be in words, it'll all be in feelings and knowings, but I'm just verbalising what the communications will be like. And it, because it's so hard to verbalise these higher levels of communication. And there will be all of that wrapped in, and it'll all happen in just a moment. It won't take long. And that parent will know that child means business. And they will just be like, wow. And then that child will help the parent to remember who they are as well. They'll provide a great trigger. So the children are going to play a major role when the time comes.